Challenging young people for Christ, the Bible Institute Hour, coast to coast.
We've a story to tell to the nations that shall turn their hearts to the right. A story of truth and sweetness, a story of peace and light, a story of peace and light.
Greetings from California. This is the Bible Institute Hour with Dr. Louis T. Talbot, President of the Bible Institute of Los Angeles and pastor of the Church of the Open Door. The Bible Institute of Los Angeles is the missionary and evangelistic training center of the West and is this year preparing more than 1,000 young people for worldwide Christian service. And now, here's our Vice President, Dr. William Orr.
Thank you, and God's good morning to our wonderful family of radio friends, and welcome to the Bible Institute Hour. Now, this is a program of melody, testimony, and then a message from the greatest book in all the world, and you're invited to stay tuned in and enjoy it with us. We'll guarantee that you'll like it, I'm sure. And now to begin, our Biola choralers sing for you, and their message is, O Zion, Haste.
O Zion, haste, thy mission high fulfilling, to tell to all the world that God is thine. That He who made all nations is not weary, one soul should perish, lost in shades of night. Publish glad tidings, tidings of peace, tidings of Jesus, redemption and release. Never let your lamp to trim, never let your light grow dim. Souls upon the sea may perish in the night. Maybe one you love is there, perishing in deep despair. Just because you have no burning, shining light. Be a burning, shining light. Be a beacon in the night. With the radiance of grace, shine for God in every place. Be a burning and a shining light. Many souls are tossed about on the sea of fear and doubt, with no beacon light to guide them to the land. If the lamp of truth you have, then its light to others give. Preach the word is your Redeemer's great command. Be a burning, shining light. Be a beacon in the night. With the radiance of grace, shine for God in every place. Be a burning and a shining light.
wonderful thing how God leads his children. For instance, we have young people here at the Bible Institute of Los Angeles who have come to us from almost every state in the Union. And when they leave us, they scatter out to almost every country under the face of the sun. Now today, with us is Violet Kaline. Where were you born, Violet?
I was born in Russia, Dr. Orr, in the city of Kafkas.
And you came to the United States when?
Along with my parents, we arrived here in 1928. That was just at the time, you remember, when there was persecution of the Christians in Russia.
And how did you hear of the Bible Institute of Los Angeles, Violet?
I came in contact with a number of Biola students who had their assignment in our church, and there was something about their lives and testimony that created a desire in my heart to have what they had. So I inquired and applied, and now I am part of Biola.
Fine, and not to mention the fact, of course, that God led you here. But we're interested, Violet, particularly in what you're going to be doing. Would you tell us a word about that?
It is true, Dr. Orr, that we hear a great deal, not only at Biola, but in our churches as well, about missionaries going to China, Africa, and India, and no doubt all those places are very needy. But many people do not realize that Europe is a fertile field for missionary endeavor, too. It is true that there are some churches there, but they are not beginning to reach the people they ought to reach. Well, God has laid this continent on my heart, and if He permits, I would like to do pioneer work among people who have never heard.
You mean on the European continent?
Yes, it is a difficult thing to do missionary work there, I know, but if God is calling me, and I believe He is, I know He will open the way.
I know He will too, Violet, and thank you for this insight into a very needy missionary field. And God bless you and use you for His glory.
Jesus calls us for the tumult of our lives while restless sea. Day by day His sweet voice sounded, saying, Christian, follow me. Jesus calls us from the worship of the vain world, gold and stone, from each idol that would keep us, saying, Christian, love me more. Jesus calls us, by Thy mercy, Savior, may we hear Thy call. Give our hearts to Thine obedience, serve and love Thee best of all. Where He leads me, I will follow. Where He leads me, I will follow. Where He leads me, I will follow. I'll go with Him all the way.
And our choir echoes that sentiment by saying, Lord, send me.
There's a call, a mighty call, comes from all the world today, to redeem the land from dark and deadly sin. Do you hear the wails of woe? Do you see sin's awful sway? Who will go to
Next year, the year 1948, will bring the 40th anniversary of the Bible Institute of Los Angeles. It was back in the year 1908 that two men of God were led to begin this training ministry. They were Mr. Lyman Stewart and Mr. T.C. Horton. Both of these brethren are now in the Lord's presence, and what a delight it is to remember their unselfish ministry. Mr. Stewart was the president of the Bible Institute until the Lord called him home. Now today we have a very pleasant surprise for you in that Mrs. Lyman Stewart is here with us. I understand, Mrs. Stewart, that you were one of the early ones to graduate in the first class. Was that right?
Not the first class, Dr. Orr. I attended Biola from 1912 to 1914.
Wasn't it true that your class was the first one to graduate from this auditorium?
Yes, it is. And on our graduation night in 1914, while we were in this auditorium, we did not have a roof over us. I mean, it was not yet completed, and our exercises were held under the open canopy of heaven, with the stars furnishing part of the lights.
Well, that's interesting. What was the size of that graduating class?
There were 17 in that class, quite a little different from the 130 which will be graduated this year.
Yes, indeed. But tell us a bit about those early days, you know, about Dr. Torrey and Mr. Horton.
Well, I'm afraid that's a big order. You know, of course, that just a few years after the Institute was organized, Dr. R.A. Torrey was called to become one of the first deans. At that time, he was an evangelist with a worldwide ministry. We believe God sent him to us, and he made a wonderful and lasting impression on the minds of the young people who were then in training. Mr. Horton was another grand teacher, and God had given him the gift of personal work, that is, personal evangelism. I shall never forget his radiant Christian testimony. And then there were others, but time would fail me to tell of them all.
Well, Mrs. Stewart, it's been just a real pleasure to have you with us. And I might add that Mrs. Stewart is at present a member of our board of directors, and one that is heart and soul with us in our great ministry. But what about the future of Biola?
There's no doubt but that God has given us a most amazing challenge. There is this great student body now present, and I understand hundreds and hundreds more seeking this training. If I could ask for one thing, it would be that the people who listen to this broadcast would place the name of our school on their prayer list, asking God to give us wisdom and ability for this challenge.
And thank you, Mrs. Stewart, and God bless you for your continued faithfulness to us.
Jesus shall reign where'er the sun does his successive journey run. His kingdom spread from shore to shore. His